All right. Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. I'm Jason Moss here with Allied Communications with Allied's 10-minute talks. And as usual, I'm here with Brian, Steffania, and John.
Hey, guys.
Hey, everyone.
Good morning.
All right. And then this week, we're going to talk a little bit about telecom optimization and why right now would be a really great time to kind of take a look at your bills. So, Steffania, where are three areas that you see that companies are able to save money? I mean, as our COO, your responsibility is saving us money, right? So this is kind of your world. I mean, what are you seeing out there for our customers?
Well, some of the major things that I see is services not being used, people not canceling either phone lines, full PRIs, other equipment that they're no longer using. Sometimes it's not even plugged in, and they're paying a large amount monthly for it. And also not paying attention to those contract end dates, not knowing what contracts they're actively in, ones that have gone month to month and now have increased, sometimes substantially increased, and not knowing, when those are over, not paying attention. Rebundling services is another big one when the contract expires. And also using some outdated technology. Maybe John can also explain how updating some of these technologies can save you money as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I still come across time and time again that customers still have, say, an old T1 or a bonded T1 for internet, right? And they're paying, an extreme amount for it, right? And they're not getting the speeds that are offered today, especially with a simple, broadband connection, or even from site to site, they have analog lines that have, have been out of contract for so long. And back then they were charged for local and long distance minutes, or even Centrex lines where, they're charging every part of usage on it, and they're pretty large number day to day just on those trunks. And just upgrading to either, a newer contract with different analog lines, just kind of optimizing what you're currently using today. It's a great opportunity to look from location to location, and even the simplest way to do it is just call these lines, right? Know what's being used. But again, with outdated technology and outdated contracts, like Steffania was mentioning, you could be in an old 2-year contract and the same speeds are half the price now, right? It's a matter of looking at it and upgrading.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's amazing the things that get lost. I've seen oftentimes, especially with POTS lines, there's something that, things get disconnected, people move desks, phone systems get swapped out, and POT lines just sit on the clip and they dial to nowhere. And, all of a sudden there's these huge costs that come up on the bills over the course of a year. Those old carrier contracts. I mean, the cellular world's famous for this, right? New plans come out about every 6 months. And if you're willing to stay with that company and jump on one of their new plans, oftentimes that in itself will save you some money. So, Steffania, what are some of the ways that we might be able to help out and help our customers make sure that they're getting the right deal, getting the right packages from all their services?
Yeah, well, I mean, typically when we look at optimizing someone's telecom, we want to collect all those bills, kind of get an inventory of where you're spending your money, and then kind of taking a look at those services and seeing what your needs are versus the services that you're paying for. Because sometimes you may be paying for something and using it, but you may not have a need for it, or maybe there's another product that can be, a lot cheaper as well. And also we have a partner too that helps to consolidate some of these bills. I see a lot of customers extremely overwhelmed with the amount of bills that they get. They're getting a bill for their phone lines from one carrier, internet from another carrier, maybe fiber from a third carrier, and that's just for one location. When you're trying to deal with multiple locations and all these bills, it gets very overwhelming.
Well, we've even got clients. Yeah, I was going to say, we've even got clients that own a lot different locations. I think we've got a client that's got a number of gas stations, as an example, in different towns. And, you're talking different carriers in some cases because the local cable companies are different. It could be 40 or 50 bills coming into some companies, and it's almost impossible to keep tabs of what's going on in there. So if I'm hearing you correctly, Steffania, we actually can sit back, consolidate those bills, and potentially get them on one simple invoice for our end users?
Yeah, that's right. We could take multiple carriers and, with some of our partners, be able to just put them on one single bill with multiple locations and multiple carriers to, kind of simplify things for them.
Awesome.
Even what our carrier is doing as well is, taking everything over and allowing us to, at that point, discover what's actually being used and drop those lines for an even better cost savings after the initial cost savings of like for like services, right? And a couple of things I wanted to add in there is, I know I've come across old locations with people still have a POTS line on a boiler system, right? And who knows what they're paying for that. But alarms too, you have a ton of burglar fire alarms. They all have dedicated lines, and it's always a good thing to take a look at those lines and see what you're paying for them, since there's not really high usage there.
Yeah, and I just have a quick question, John. Are there any industries specifically that would benefit from having an audit on their bills, or is it really just any company, any industry? It's really not until you take a look, right? Or do you see any industry specifically that benefits most from this, or?
I wouldn't say any industry specific. I know we've done a few case studies on some, assisted livings and some larger locations where there's a lot of hands in the pot, right? And there's a lot of analog line usage. We're able to come in, see what's being used, and definitely save you possibly enough money to even pay for a brand new phone system, right? But I'd say the biggest, it wouldn't even be a vertical, just be a company that has multiple locations, because you might have an accounting, the accounting team might be at one location, just getting the bills from each location. They have no clue what's going on, right? They're just taking those bills, looking over them and paying them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And is there any restriction on where your locations can be, or can you literally do this optimization and consolidation at a global level if that's the case for a company?
I don't think there is no restrictions. Absolutely not. We work with carriers all over, and we're able to optimize all their bills at every location. Definitely to simplify it.
So obviously there's some cost savings on the backside too, because now you might not need the same amount of resources across your locations wherever you are to kind of look at these bills. You can really consolidate it and put it in one person's hands in your organization every month.
Absolutely.
So there could even be some soft cost savings to go with this.
Yeah, that's
Definitely
true with the accounting.
Yeah, I mean, it really sounds like now's a great time to, take a look and see where you can save some money and, recycle that money back into your business, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody obviously coming out of this crisis is looking for ways to drop down whatever costs they can to keep people working, right? And that's the number one goal. And then the other goal, of course, is how do we increase our collaboration and continue serving in the new world order of potential more work at home and in other areas as well. So, it sounds like this is a pretty cool service, and I certainly suggest that customers contemplate doing this. And I know I know here at Allied we've got the ability to offer that free optimization view where you can come in and we'll at least give you a bill review and tell you what's going on. We've set up a page if you want to schedule an optimization with our team. You can head on over to alliedphone.com/optimization. And, there we'll be happy to, we can coordinate with you how to take a look at your bills and see if there's some savings available to you. You've got nothing to lose. The worst that we can tell you is, yeah, you're doing okay. You've got the best deal. And that's nice to find out sometimes too.
Exactly, right?
I rarely see that, I will say.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but the risk is potentially small in this. And, just to close out, I think the one thing I'm not sure if we did cover, but sometimes even optimization doesn't require changing carrier, correct? So this can sometimes be, hey, it's not a wholesale change. You're not going through cutovers. Sometimes it's just getting on the right plans with the carriers that you're existing with. So, for those that are a little bit like, I don't want to go do this because I don't want to go through that cutover. We all have probably a cutover nightmare story in our in our background if we're in telecom. And sometimes we can just work with the vendors to get a better cost there too. So again, no risk. Head on over to alliedphone.com/optimization if you're interested in us taking a review of your bills. So guys, anything you want to close with? We're getting near the end.
I'd say the one thing you can definitely do too, with everyone working from home, anything at the office that's not being utilized, you can always try to reduce services at this time as well.
Well, guys, I think that wraps up our 10-minute talk for this week. So I want to thank you guys for joining me, and for everybody out there, take a look, head over to alliedphone.com/optimization and find out if we could maybe save you some money. Now's the time. It's the perfect time. So thank you guys once again, and I hope everybody has a great weekend.